hat. How to pass the hat to supersize and grow your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and our idiom today is pass the hat. Yesterday we talked about hat in hand, and I realized we had never talked about the idiom pass the hat. Pass the hat, I actually have personal experience with this one. I remember growing up in a small town in Wisconsin, and the drinking age was 18 when I was growing up. So we would pass the hat. We'd ask for contributions. We wouldn't beg, but we would ask one another for contributions if we were driving. We would split gas money back in the day, and that was back when gas was really, really cheap compared to what it is now. We would pass the hat or ask for contributions if we were going to a party or if we were having a party. A lot of times people would just donate money. They would donate a couple bucks or $5 or something to help pay for the refreshments and the treats and the beer, of course, because there was always beer, usually kegs involved. But that was my experience with passing the hat. And sometimes people at parties would literally pass the hat. Other times they just put their hand out and they'd say, okay, it's $5 to be at this party. And that went on through high school, through college. And I think it still goes on today. I think still people share expenses. It's like when you go out to eat and everybody splits the check. Not that we're doing a whole lot of that right now, but things like that. Churches and organizations in college, and even in my small town, this idiom actually comes similar origin as hat in hand, but they have slightly different meanings. This idiom also comes, they suspect, from street minstrels, the literal practice of somebody be performing on the street. You know, it could be a mime. People still do this today. Even in my little town during COVID, we have a park called Lakefront Park, and you'll see people performing down there, and they'll either have a hat sitting out for people to put donations in if you appreciate their craft, or they'll have a box or a case or a cup or something in order to get contributions. I mean, in our bigger cities around the world, we see people begging with cups or whatever kind of container or just their hand in order to get some of the resources that they need just to sustain their life. I didn't really see much of that until I went off to college, because I grew up in a very small town and we didn't really have any homeless people back then. Now I believe that we do, but we didn't back then. So I'd never seen a homeless person until I went to college. And that was my first experience with that. Interesting, learned a lot. But this idiom, how can we apply it to our business? What does it have to do with our businesses with respect to begging or asking for contributions? I think of three areas that come to mind. The first area is the area of investing. The second area is the topic of charities and who we associate ourselves with. And the third area is giving. And the first area, with respect to starting or growing or expanding our businesses, often we're looking for capital or other resources to make that possible. Maybe our working capital in our business is such that we don't want to dive or dig into that in order to invest in growth and other resources. So we're looking for other places to get money, get resources in order to grow or expand or even to start our businesses. Well, we might be tempted, and we might actually go out and look for investors. We might look for angel investors. We might look for grants. We might nowadays with the internet go on sites like GoFundMe and look for people to donate and support and help us to get started in our business. Those are examples to me of passing the hat in a way that positively impacts and helps us to grow and expand our businesses. Now, I grew up in the day when there wasn't really any money just given to different businesses, and I had to go to the bank for loans. Now, just like with many investors or many venture capitalists and things, there's always a price to pay for people giving you money and resources to grow or start your business. And we need to keep that in mind when we're looking at these different possible ways of funding our business. Even angel investors tend to have qualifications and expectations of their return on investment. Some of the online sites, I believe, do not, but also I think some of them do. They expect to be able to access or have a product when you actually start producing the product. Things like that. I don't know all the details of it. With respect to, so keep in mind, investors, sometimes people give value to your business, but they give with an expectancy of something in return. So it's not really charity or giving in the sense that it's business, right? If I go to the bank and I borrow money, they expect me to pay it back on time with interest. That's business. That's not them doing me a favor or giving me something. That's me doing business. It's an exchange of value. The other area where we can use passing the hat in our favor is with the charities and the organizations we associate ourselves with. People want to know the reason why you're doing business. Why do you have this business? Besides just feeding your family, do you stand for a cause, or do you align yourself with a cause or a charity or a group that its purpose is to create more in the world than just profits for your business? Some people decide to associate with different charities based on the things that are important to them, based on their core values. It's another really good way to literally pass the hat and get IRS tax benefits by contributing to particular charities, or you know, whatever. I want to say 103, Steve. I'm getting the numbers wrong today. So nonprofit organizations, align yourself with. Many businesses actually start their own foundations and their own nonprofit organizations in order to positively contribute and give back to the world as part of their profits. And of course, there's business benefits of doing that. The third area that passing the hat brings to mind for me personally is in the area of giving. And I think the best way to do that as a business owner is to provide incredible value and in terms of products and services to your customers and to the relationships that you're involved in as a business owner. Relationships with your customers, of course, relationships with your team members and employees, relationships with your vendors, relationships with the politicians and the interactions that you have with local officials and regulatory officials. Those relationships, if you give and treat people the way you want to be treated, you will never have any trouble in your business with those type of relationships. So give incredible value and service in everything that you do, not necessarily with the expectancy that that individual that you give value to will return the value. But whenever you put good out into the world, you get good back. That works in our lives as well as our businesses. So love to know your experience with this idiom, pass the hat. Like I said, I've had experience with it. Have not done it with my businesses or with investing, but I have, like I said, when I was in my youth, we would share expenses. And we still do that. We partner with people in order to benefit both parties and grow our businesses all the time. Have an amazing day. I will be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how might you use it in your business today? Take care.